Hello, health students. This is Mrs. Jones coming from my house. I hope you guys are all well. Today I'm going to talk about metric conversions. With each of the homeworks that I assign from this point on, I'm going to try to do a little video to give a few examples to help you guys out. Metric conversions, a metric system has to deal with prefixes, and then you have these base units here. A general person, like in a science class, would only be given from kilo to milli. Those are the most common metric units. But in healthcare, you also have mega, you'll have micro, you have nano, and you also have pico, which are very tiny units. And then you guys still have the same base units that everybody else does, okay? So, gram, this first section, bear with me because this is one of the very first videos I've made, so I kind of stumble a little bit. But the very first section of your paper should be very self-explanatory. It's just using the notations and how do you show milligram, centimeter, and so on. Or no, this one's about whether or not it's a volume, length, or weight unit. And then this down here, the second unit, is how to use the abbreviations. That should be very self-explanatory. The next page of your assignment goes through the kind of rules about notation in healthcare. The big one is this one. Most important one is rule number 5. And it says a 0 must be placed in front of the decimal when it is not preceded by a whole number to emphasize the decimal point. What that means is that in math, if we would say 0.4, that's correct. But when you're talking about medical notation, this point could be very well not read or not seen. And if you're talking about 0.4 of a gram or 4 grams, that's that's a big difference. So you have to put a 0 in front of it so that it makes the decimal point stand out. Now that's not a math rule, but that's a medical notation rule. So those just go over the rules. And then this section is a review of maybe what you may have talked about in elementary school, how to take a written out number and transfer it into the actual numbers and notation abbreviations that you would use. Okay? The last part of your paper has to deal with actually doing conversions, and I'm going to talk through these 4 examples so that you can do the bottom piece here. So it says look at the chart on the first page. This 0.5 grams, and we're making it into milligrams. If we look at the chart over here, gram is here in the middle, which is 10 to the 0. I want you to look at the exponents instead of looking at the number of spaces. But gram is here in the middle, and we're making it into milligram. So do you see between 0 and -3, that would be 3 spaces. And we're going from gram to milligram, so it's 3 spaces to the right. And that's why I took this decimal point over here and moved it 3 spaces to the right to make it 500 milligrams. Down below, we have 200 milliliters into liters. And if we look at the chart, we're starting at milli and we're going to liter. So if you look at just the exponents, That's 3 spaces between -3 and 0. And we're starting at milli, and we're going to liter, so we're going to the left. And that's why I took this decimal point right here and moved it 3 spaces to the left. And following the rules that we just talked about on the other page, you have to put a 0 in front of the decimal, and then these extra zeros drop off. This example is very similar to the ones that we just talked about, so I'm going to jump to this last one. Excuse me. This is 500 micrograms into milligrams. Now this is the kind of tricky one here, that if we look at this chart, here's micro and here's milli. So it looks like we're only moving at one spot. But remember, I said look at the exponents, because this says -6 and this says -3. So even though it looks like it's only one place, there's a jump of 3 spaces in between these two. And since we're going from micro to milli, we're going to be going 3 spaces to the left. And that's why over here, I took this decimal and moved it 3 spaces to the left, which made it 0.5. I had to put the 0 in front, and I had to drop off those 2 extra zeros at the end. If you look at your chart, down here between each one of these are 3 space jumps. And then the same thing on the high end, there's a 3 space jump over here as well. So I'm hoping this little video helps you so that you can do this last section down here. Your best bet is to do your work on another piece of paper, and then you can take a picture of it and submit that, or you can send it to my email, cjones@ictc.edu. All right? Hope this helped. Stay healthy, and hope to see you guys soon. Bye.